Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be doing another update of Washington Reagan National Airport. I don't really have a lot to go over at the start of today's video, so we're going to jump straight into it here, starting off at the American Eagle section. So starting off here we have this American Eagle CRJ-700. He's arrived in from Wilmington in North Carolina and is going to be heading out to Greensboro, also in North Carolina. Then next up here we have this American Eagle Embraer 175. This aircraft has arrived in from Hilton Head in South Carolina and is going to be heading out to Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. Next up here we have this American Eagle ERJ-145. While the ERJ-145s don't usually fly into Washington Reagan, I do like to add these aircraft in just to kind of boost my American Eagle presence. Typically the main three aircraft American Eagle use are the CRJ-700s, the CRJ-900s and the Embraer 175s. While we have the CRJ-700 and the Embraer 175, we still don't have any CRJ-900s. I never got that Gemini Jets release of the CRJ-900, so hopefully we get another one of those soon. But this ERJ-145 is going to be heading out to Savannah in Georgia after arriving in from Norfolk in Virginia. Next up here we have another American Eagle CRJ-700. This aircraft has arrived in from Cedar Rapids in Iowa and is going to be heading out to New Orleans in Louisiana. And then finally here we have this American Eagle Embraer 175. This aircraft has arrived in from Key West in Florida and is going to be heading out to Traverse City in Michigan. After that, moving on to the main lines now, here we have this American Airbus A320. While I don't have any American A319s, the American A319 is probably the most common mainline aircraft here at Washington Reagan. So I've decided to send this A320 out to a couple A319 destinations. So this aircraft has just arrived in from Destin Fort Walton Beach in Florida and is going to be heading out to Atlanta in Georgia. I do hope we get some American A319s because, as I say, the American A319s are everywhere here at Washington Reagan. After that, here we have this American 737-800. This aircraft has arrived in from Chicago O'Hare in Illinois and is going to be heading out to Orlando in Florida. And then after that, here we have this American 737 MAX 8. This aircraft has arrived in from and will be heading out to Miami in Florida. I wish I could send this aircraft out to a more interesting destination, but at the moment that is the only destination they send these MAX 8s to from Washington Reagan. So for realism's sake, this aircraft is going to be heading out to Miami in Florida. Then next up here we have this JetBlue Airbus A220-300. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Boston in Massachusetts. And then after that here we have this JetBlue Airbus A320. This aircraft is of course going to be heading out to Fort Lauderdale in Florida. And then next up here we have this Alaska Boeing 737-800. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Los Angeles in California. And then next up here, moving on to the Delta gates, here we have this Delta Airbus A321. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Atlanta in Georgia. And then we have this Delta Connection Embraer 170. This aircraft is going to be heading out to New York LaGuardia. And then finally here for Delta, here we have this Delta Airbus A319. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Minneapolis in Minnesota. And then moving on to United, here we have this United 737-800 in the older color scheme. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Denver in Colorado. After that, we then have this United Express CRJ-550. Now this aircraft is going to be heading out to Newark in New Jersey. And then finally here for United, here we have this United Airbus A319. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Houston Intercontinental in Texas. Then moving around to Southwest now, here we have this Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-700 in the Maryland 1 color scheme. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Milwaukee in Wisconsin. We then have the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Kansas City in Missouri. And then finally here for today's updates, here we have this Air Canada Express CRJ-200. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Montreal in, of course, Canada. And just like that, that does conclude today's update of Washington Reagan National Airport. It has been a short one, but that's kind of the trouble with these Washington Reagan updates, is Washington Reagan is quite a simple airport. There's not usually any interesting activity that happens, some unique activity that is. Of course, at Washington Dulles and even Baltimore, we get all the international arrivals, we get changes to aircraft operations, but Washington Reagan kind of stays the same. It's been essentially the same airport for the last 20 years. We've not really had any variation in new airlines or different routes. So of course it is what it is, and at the end of the day, I love making these updates. So with that, I want to thank you very much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.